Here, we're going to give an example of how understanding the marginal product of labor and the value of the marginal product of the labor can inform hiring decisions. So, in these first two columns, we just have the number of workers and then the output, in this case, meals produced from those workers. Now, we could easily define from just the information in these two columns what the marginal product of labor is, or how much output increases per each additional input, or in this case, worker hired. So initially going from 0 to 1 workers, output would increase from 0 to 50. So the marginal product of labor, or 50 minus 0 over 1 minus 0, is 50. But then the second worker, once they're hired, output will increase to 90, meaning that their marginal product of labor is less than 50, or 40. 90 minus 50 divided by 2 minus 1. And as additional workers are hired, we see a increase in output, but a declining marginal product of labor. Now, since this restaurant can sell each of those meals that workers produce at $10 per worker, that means we can define the value of the marginal product of labor as just 10 times the marginal product of labor. So for the first worker, the marginal product of labor was 50. $10 per meal means the value of the marginal product of labor for the first worker is $500. And in order to define the marginal profit, we would just need to subtract their wage, or the cost of that additional input. And assuming that workers are paid $100 daily, that means the marginal profit for hiring the first worker is going to be $400. Their marginal product of labor times 10, giving the value of the marginal product of labor of 500, minus their wage of 100. Now for the second worker, since their marginal product is 40 and the value of that marginal product is 400, their marginal product is 300. And going down the line, as we see the marginal product of labor decreases, this idea of too many cooks in the kitchen, at some point additional workers are not going to increase output, we would expect there to be declining value of the marginal product of their labor and declining marginal profits, so that at a certain point, hiring additional workers does not increase profit at all. And that occurs here with the fifth worker, where the fifth worker hired, after that, the marginal product of labor is 0. And at the fifth worker, it's 10, which equals out to a value of the marginal product of labor for the fifth worker of being 100. And once you subtract their $100 of daily wages, leaves a marginal profit of 0.